Hey everybody, welcome to Act 2. Shep messing as always. I'm Jason and Greg is in Mexico, but we're going to do the show without him. Shep, we talked yesterday about the Texas portion of the Western Conference. Today we're going to look at the LA Galaxy and Colorado, who are climbing in the West.
Two great stories. I've been on Bruce Arena's bandwagon, I know you hate that word, for a long time. He's coach of the year. Bruce Arena and Dave Sarakin have really revamped that team. And it's not just Landon Donovan, and it's not just the blonde boy David Beckham. Donovan Ricketts, a great pickup on goal. Omar Gonzalez has been very steady as a rookie in the back. De La Garza has playing time. Right. Edson Buttle chipped in. So a lot of pieces in place. They've been great. Colorado, they've been great as well. Gary Smith has that team scoring goals.
Quick, Shep, if I asked you which team in MLS had the least losses this season, who would you say?
Red Bull. No, okay, let me have another guess. Columbus.
Right. If you said Columbus, you'd be right. But they're tied with LA, which is surprising. All those ties by LA, they have 10 ties, added up, kept them in it. They got the reinforcements, and now they're doing well and climbing the West up to second place.
I think the LA Galaxy has been the story of how do you reinvigorate a franchise. Mm-hmm. And Bruce Arena really broke it down, got rid of players, and started all over.
He brought in a lot of Bruce's guys, a lot of former national team guys.
Yep.
Questions about their age, but brought them in, and so far he's gotten results.
I'm a believer in them. And again, you raised a good point, though. If there is a question mark as to how the LA Galaxy will do the rest of the year, how do the rookies hold up? Do they hit a rookie bump? And how do the veterans, Eddie Lewis, Chris Klein, Berhalter, I mean,
Beckham even.
And Beckham is, I put him in a different category. But how do those legs hold up? This is the stretch run, the dog days. But I give credit to LA. I think they're going to continue to do well.
They definitely have some midfield depth when you have a guy like Dima Kovalenko coming back. You have Chris Klein coming off the bench. Birchall now, who can give Beckham some minutes, or Miglioranzi in the middle. But to me, it's their defense that I'm a little worried about. Without Franklin, until he comes back from injury, they have Tony Santa, Leonard Griffin's not very experienced, Johannes Marshall coming back from injury, a rookie who has no experience. So that, to me, their backline could be a problem.
Valid concern, Jason, but you defend as a team. So it starts from your strikers, and they have multiple options up there. Remember, Edson Buttle's been out for a while. They picked up Eskandarian, Alan Gordon doing a good job. So strikers have to track back.
Alan Gordon's doing Alan Gordon's job.
Alan Gordon's
a good job.
Alan Gordon's doing a good job.
Right.
And you track back as a striker, you get on goal side of the ball as a midfielder, and then it's your back line, and then the big man Donovan Ricketts in goal.
Well, right behind the Galaxy in the standings are Colorado, who seem to be alternating wins and losses lately. But when they do win, Shep, they really turn it on.
Colorado's been unbelievable, and kudos really to Gary Smith. He's put together a good team. He's got Matt Pickens in goal. He's solid at the back. Pablo is a monster in the defensive part of the field. And Omar Cummings and Connor Casey. Say it again. Omar Cummings and Connor Casey.
Right.
No two players up front complement each other better than those two guys.
Yeah, it's really interesting how Colorado as a franchise has been a defensive-oriented team for a long time. Now all of a sudden they're the second leading scoring team in the league. They have the Golden Boot race leader in Connor Casey. They're Omar Cummings leading the league in assists. Like, who is this Colorado team under Gary Smith?
Yeah, good for them, and I think they're going to continue to do well. And one thing to bear in mind, if you talk about where you finish in the standings in terms of playoffs and can you get a home field advantage, Colorado, if they can get a home field advantage, I think that is huge for them to have that second leg played at home if you're going to extra time in the altitude.
Yeah, people discount home field advantage in MLS, but when you're playing those extra 30 minutes and you have to do it at altitude, that's definitely an advantage for Colorado. We're going to get back to the East now, Shep, since we haven't touched on them yet this week. Columbus winning without Schelotto. That's big for them because they're letting him rest for Champions League.
I think Garcia has done a great job there because, again, he's got the players. They're defending champions. They started out this year. People were worried, couldn't get a win, so many ties. He's now managing how much do I play Schelotto. Schelotto probably could play right now, but he's holding them back because they're winning without him. So I think they're going to continue to play well.
Another team that's shown a lot of depth this year is DC United. DC meets Toronto this weekend. They both played Real Madrid last week. Maybe they'll compare some of their battle scars.
Well, if you're Toronto, you have a headache, a migraine from that game. I mean, that game could have been 10 goals for Real Madrid. But I think the purpose of these games for MLS teams against great clubs like Real Madrid, it's really for the fans. So the fans in Toronto, they get a well-deserved treat to see some of the greatest players in the world.
Right, and I think you have to give credit to DC United, who played Real Madrid tough, 0-0 at halftime. Second half, they had a little spurt where they gave up some goals on some Greg Janicki mistakes. But if you look at the way that DC played against them, they moved the ball real well. I think they kind of impressed in that game, no?
Yeah, Tommy Sohn has done, as always, a terrific job. I think the couple of players that really gained from this game for DC United are the young players, like Pontius, like Wallace, like a Josh Wicks.
Josh Wicks was good, yeah.
Super. So they can now get back to league play and say, you know what? I was getting a job done against Real Madrid. So that will buoy their confidence.
Yeah, the last team in the East that we're going to look at is New England. They were on a little roll, run into LA. LA knocks them off. What do you think about New England going forward?
I was worried about the New England Revolution at the beginning of this season. I did not think they had replaced enough pieces to that team to do well, and that's before they've lost Taylor Twellman again. So Stevie Nicol and Paul Mariner, they have them organized, they have them battling and fighting, but I just don't think they have the talent.
Well, that's all we have for today from Extra Time. Tomorrow, we're going to hear from Greg after the U.S.-Mexico game, and we're going to debut the Extra Time Cup.